Hi, Shalom. I'm Richard Angeles. Welcome to a series of short videos called Wise Counsel, where I'm going to ask our experienced staff and sometimes invited guests to answer questions from our students on these three main topics. Number one, leadership and discipleship. Number two, on Bible study. And number three, on current issues, particularly concerning the Christian Fellowship CF in our college and university. We hope to provide biblical and basic counsel to inspire our students towards holistic growth in Christ and to empower them to live out the gospel. The scripture says this in Proverbs chapter 11, verse 14. Where there is no guidance, a people falls, but in an abundance of counselors, there is safety.
Wow. Hi, welcome to another episode of our season 2 of Wise Counsel. And with us today is Sokli and also Gabriel. Hi, how about you guys?
Hello, people.
Hello.
Where are you now, Sokli?
I'm in Selangor. Yeah, I'm back to office now. PJ office.
PJ office, Petaling Jaya. Gab, where are you now?
I'm based in the Penang office, which is part of the northern region. Yeah,
Yeah.
Penang's the best place, yo.
Yes. Tapi mahal.
Yeah, but we got good food here.
But Sarawak want to fight also, Penang. Sarawak also got good food. So I'm in our FES region. I'm here in our prayer room. If you can look at sunny. It's a very yellowish room. Yeah, so in this episode, we're going to deal with this question about re-entering campus. But before that, I just like to ask some random question to our guests today. What are the things that you're very good at, or something that you found out that you are good at during this lockdown? You thought you're not good at it, but actually, hey, I'm quite okay with this. Maybe cooking, maybe gardening. What is some discovery? Maybe one thing that you think you are good at, that you found out about yourself? Gab, do you want to begin?
I think for me would be because you had so much time, right? Because most of your times were at home. So cooking was one thing I tried to also try to explore.
Wow.
Of course, I need to call my mom and ask her different things. How do you do this? Or what is that? What do you call that sauce again? And stuff like that. But I thought the one thing in the culinary world, I thought one of it was one of the cabang, one of the branch of it, baking. So I found that quite interesting. The whole process of it, you had to add the ingredient in, then you had to mix it together, then you had to knead the dough. They said, right, you had to like press it with your hand and all. I found that, I just found that very satisfying and very nice to do. Of course, I had many failed attempts. Yeah, some got no taste, some taste too hard, a lot of funny things. But eventually, slowly, kind of get the hang of it.
Wow.
Yeah. I won't say I'm a good expert or what, but I got the idea of how to do it now. Yeah.
Wow, baking. Wow. So, Lee, how about yourself?
I don't have new skill because I spend most of the time, during the pandemic, because I stay with my parents and I have my nephew and nieces with me around. So basically my role is play with them. But I think one of the things that I enjoy doing maybe during the pandemic is I purchased some of the dark nano blocks, the like Lego things. Yeah, I think this is something that I play during the free time.
Wow.
Yeah, it's quite satisfying after the things, the final result is out.
Yes. Well, it's interesting, yeah. Oh, all right. Thank you very much for answering this question. Yeah. That one is just to release some of our tension, because our question in this episode is quite a bit dear to our heart, especially in FES. We like to answer this question or respond to this question: how do students can re-entering campus life well? And that is, we hope to achieve that, maybe some idea that we're going to bring into this discussion. Of course, we have resources, but that is for later. We're going to introduce it. So just some recap about what is happening in our previous years. Of course, about COVID-19. It was identified somewhere in December 2019, and it was declared as a pandemic around March 2020. Now, if you count it, it's about 2 years. And during the 2 years, maybe 1 year, we are more serious. Or the first 6 months, we are really locked down. And we have this question about what does it mean to have a new normal? Now, for some people, it will be different. For another person, it will be different. And then most of us, maybe not all of us, living in isolation. And most of us also the high intensity in our stress and also uncertainty. And then when we going back to new normal, whatever definition, whatever you think about when you heard the word new normal, we need to rebuild relationship and some flourishing, but I think most probably deteriorate. And then we need to integrating ourselves back into society. If you are working, workplace, and you are a student, or aiming for today, university and campus, and going to church. There are things that you have to do to go back from 6 months. People say that if you want to create habit around 28 days or 1 month, now because 6 months, we already have that habit. And now we want to re-enter back into campus life. Especially for students, facing face-to-face, another level of anxiety or different kind of anxiety going back. There is one term that psychologists put it, they call it re-entering anxiety. It's quite interesting. So as we look at this question about re-entering campus life, well, at VS we have this discussion, we have meeting, and we want to make this re-entry resources. But why does FVS want to create these resources? Why we want to make it available? Yeah.
Yeah, to answer these questions, right, I think we all know that metal, yeah, if left unused for a long time, right, it will eventually become rusty. So I think similarly, right, there are some of the areas that in Christian student life may have been neglected since the start of the pandemic. Things that they long time never used already. Yeah. So as with some of these items in life may have been neglected over time and they become rusty. So there's a need, right, for the de-rusting process, which the intentional process, right, that needs to be take place for students, right, in order to get the important areas that have been neglected up or running against. Yeah, like what you say now is a time that they need to return to their physical class, right? Yeah. So the purpose for these re-entry resources is to help students to de-rust those rusty areas in order to re-enter well as Christians in campus.
Wow. Do you want to add anything to that, Gabriel?
Yeah, so I think to add on to what Sokli have also said, I think we also need to ask ourselves this question. What is the purpose of the Christian fellowship? So if you're telling me the purpose of the Christian fellowship is just for us to come together, have fun and stuff like that, all this kind of stuff, then how is that any different from your other clubs and societies in campus? So would it shock you if I say that the purpose of the CF or the purpose of the Christian fellowship exists for your non-Christian friend? Will you be shocked if I tell you that? Because it is true. The whole reason why CF exists is for our non-Christian friends. And underlying this, the very heartbeat, the thing that moves the Christian fellowship is actually these three simple things, these three simple words. Okay, the first letter is E.
Okay.
E, evangelism. And then D, discipleship.
Yeah.
And then the last word is M, mission. So EDM, not electronic dance machine, okay? But it's evangelism, discipleship, and mission. These are the three components that, it really moves the CF for that very purpose of being there for our non-Christian friends, the reason why CF exists. And hence, that's why we want to help ourselves to come back to CF again.
Yeah. Well, in another way that we need to look at ourselves, how we can really enter in, but at the same time also, not just we are the one who experience it. That's the thing about this COVID and pandemic, right? It's not just happened to one person, but all of us experience it. And therefore, we can help each other to do it. I think there is no other good place, beside the faculty in university and all that, one of the best places will be Christian Fellowship. All right, thank you very much for that. But I also, during the meeting, we discussed about, actually, we want to help, helping the staff to go and help the students to re-entry. Therefore, we have these resources, but not for, especially for students per se. So as we bring these resources to our campus, we one-on-one with students or in CF and all that, have we used this? I mean, what are some experiences that you personally had? Or maybe you heard other staff using it, some stories. Have we used these resources? What are some challenges, ongoing things is happening?
We had our first resource. This resource, we launched it during end of last year, December. So I remember I used it. The first one on biblical reflection on Psalm 90 with one of my students, the final year students. We reflect on the Psalms 90. I think one of the things, right, for him is actually for the last 2 years of online classes seems like a time of waste for him, especially of not able to build good friendship with his classmates. So one of the things that he wants to do more intentionally when he returned to physical class is actually to get to know his classmates better and spend time with them before they graduate. So I think this is a very good time of reflections.
Okay.
I have two stories. One is also something happened last year. So last year, after like what Song Lee mentioned, we had the first resource, which is on a reflection on Psalms 90. And then the second resource also came out at the end of the year. It was a year-end reflection for the whole year of 2021. So it was meant to be used either by individuals, or you can use it in a small group, or you could use it as a Christian fellowship together. So some of the different CFs, they actually took it, they re-adapt it again. So some use different questions, and probably they add on a bit of activity. But nonetheless, what most of them said, this year-end reflection really helped them to see, to make sense, especially because it was a year of uncertainty. We started 2021 with the hope that we will somewhat come back together physically. But by the mid of 2021, it doesn't seem that we were getting anywhere better. So that reflection that they had last year, it actually helped them to make sense of their, unmet expectation, the expectation that they did not come to reality, or those fears and anxieties, how to put it into words, and how can they look forward, especially for this year where things are slowly opening up again. So that's one. The other one was this. So one of the resources that we also have, it actually talks about what then is the purpose of the CF. And I thought how this one particular committee group in the Christian Fellowship, it's a very simple activity which I thought, hey, it was quite good. So very simple, so the committee asked this among themselves. So it was an activity they did. So they said, okay, please take out your wallet, okay, because wallet is your most treasured possession, right? Okay, besides your phone, wallet is the next thing. Yeah, besides your phone, wallet is the next thing. And then they asked this, they asked, okay, imagine your wallet now has only three slots to put cards. Okay, only have 3 slots. And then they ask everyone, what are the 3 most important things would you slot in among all of your cards? That means your IC, your driving license, your credit card, your T-Life, all those loyalty cards and stuff like that, your Baskin Robbins cards and stuff like that. They ask what are 3 cards you will definitely put in your wallet if you have 3 places. Okay, definitely most of them. The first 2 was the IC and the driving license for those who have, driving license. The third one usually is their matrix card, the student matrix card. And the fourth one usually will be a bank card, or it will be a credit card. Of course, it's their parents' credit card, not theirs. They're just students. But the thing is this, so when they debrief the activity, they ask, why did you choose this? And most of them say, well, I see it is my identity. And then hence the same thing for a Christian fellowship. What then is the identity of the Christian fellowship? And I thought, wow, that was so amazing. I didn't really thought, wow, such a good activity to talk about. What is then our identity? Similarly, as we think about the Christian fellowship, what then is our identity? So yeah, we have a resource about that talks about, what is the purpose of the CF and how do we help it? how do we move towards it back to the identity again?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a if you look at it in a group perspective, like what the last story that you share about committee and all that, they're using these resources to think about, instead of how I to re-entry back to campus, how our CF can re-entry back to CF, and related to the story previous before. So and therefore maybe we can help others, because CF exists for not just for Christian but also to non-believers around us. Yeah, so yeah, I think the story will be surfaced maybe if we have another meetings with our fellow staff, because these resources are keep on going. Some still using it, some what we could modify it, and the good thing about this re-entry kits or resources is for you to a guideline for you to look at it, to help you to reflect about how to come back. Now, let's say, all right, maybe the resources we're gonna talk about, we're gonna introduce again later, maybe at the end of this video. But practically now, imagine that you never had this re-entering campuses kit or resources. So, what are some practical steps that student can do now to re-enter their campus well? Maybe they already enter campus, but maybe something to think about, but maybe some still not yet being there physically, but maybe mind is not really in campuses. What are some practical steps that they can do to re-enter well?
Yeah. I think the practical step is always to prepare your hearts, right? One of the things I think is very important to expect the unexpected. Yeah, I think there are many things, right, might change along the way or difference already after the 2 years. Yeah, so be open for new things were coming along, yeah, or something that you will experience soon. Just like you need to have like this kind of adventurous heart of to experience something new lah. Yeah, don't be shocked, or also don't be so fast get frustrated or give up. Yeah, when you need to face something new or something that you unexpected. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also got one more tips. I think like just like what you say, right? Some of the students now are still back in their hometown because of online classes still going on, or they can choose to stay in their hometown to join the hybrid classes. But there are also some of the seniors or friends might already went back before them. So I think if you need any helps or questions, yeah, that you need to ask, because I think there are a lot of news already. Some of the campus already say that by I think next semester everyone should be back already. So if you have any questions or any helps that you needed, so don't be shy. Call your seniors or call those who went back earlier than you. Yeah, some of the things that you want to find out from them. I think they are willing to help one because they are already there and they can check out for you. Yeah.
I think before we proceed with maybe a few other points, I just want to come back to point number one: expect the unexpected. It is very frustrated because we have that certain kind of ideas when we come back to campus and university. We hope that we're going back to the normal, whatever the definition normal is. And then as we come back, we have this new normal, which is not actually new, meaning we try to adjust ourselves into that normalcy. But it always shock you, and it always challenge your personality or challenge the way how you think things will happen. But I think for me, if I want to expand to that, expect the unexpected is to delay your response. To delay your response as you foresee that some event that is not according to what we imagine it will be, it can be frustrated. And one of the way we, as a students, young people, sometimes we just put it somewhere there in social media and become frustrated, and therefore it will increase your stress and all that. So anything want to add to that, or if not, we can proceed to the other point.
I think what Richard mentioned, I think it's true, especially when things doesn't happen to what we thought it should actually be, and naturally the place that we can express out the dissatisfaction, or we can express out this feeling of anxiety or this feeling of uncertainty, more often than not, it will always be either on Instagram stories or probably on the Facebook stories. But I think coming back to what Salt Lee mentioned earlier, having people to talk to, especially your seniors, and definitely there will be seniors who are willing to actually walk with you, especially when things doesn't make sense. Because do know this, you're not alone. Even your seniors are trying to make sense of what happened. They may be like, in their final year now, and say, oh, let's not disturb them, they're so busy. But do you know they're also making sense, like, wow, things have changed so much, So they are also in the same boat with all of us. We're also making sense. And it's okay. Go and reach out to them. You'll be surprised that they will be comforted to know, oh, my junior also want to hear from me.
Yeah. So we have seen expect the unexpected. Number 2, ask for help. Is there anything more that we want to share?
More, I think what will also be practical steps. Definitely be part of the community. So what I mean by this is definitely Christian fellowship. Do be part of it, but I think that we also need to be part of the larger community in the campus as well. There are other societies and clubs, in the campus as well. I mean, probably, during my time, I know a lot of my friends that time, they love to be part of the futsal community or the badminton community, and stuff like this, or the frisbee. At one point, frisbee was a really popular game, and these were different places that we get to meet friends. We get to build our friendship with many different people from different backgrounds. Campus life is more than studying. Studying is important. I'm not saying it's not, but it's more than that. Do also experience that full campus life as well.
Yeah, I think just to add it up about the community just now. Sometimes we are a bit passive, we're waiting people to come and please lah invite me. And then you see people punya social media punya status, kenapa tak ajak saya pergi join? Perhaps you can have this mindset of taking initiative. I know that there are some of us a bit more introvert. The less people, the better. But maybe you can join community with maybe not a big group, small group, chess group. So busy. Yeah. So take initiative to join the community of believers, even non-believers, not just CF, also other clubs, like what Gabriel says. Is there anything more that you guys want to shout out and give to this response?
I don't think I have any at the moment.
For me as well.
Yeah. So to know more about all this, perhaps again, yes, maybe one other practical step would be, of course, to check it out our resources. Still, we are not saying that our resources is the answer to everything, but we do have something to think about. We have committee to think about what's a good step to look at as we re-entering campus life. And also when Sokli says about ask for help, not just about seniors, but also can ask for help from staff, right? Yeah, so maybe based on that, what are some last thoughts that you can share?
Yeah, I think the different one of us, right? Actually, we responded differently to the thoughts of going back physical to campus. Some are really excited. Yes, finally, Yeah, but actually some are really, really anxious. Yeah, because of I think the cases are still around. And there are different things that we are anxious about. So I think for why we have these re-entry resources is also to help us, right, to prepare ourselves, right, to look at some of the things that we need to like so-called like fix a bit lah. I mean, de-rusty a bit lah. Okay, yeah, so that we can re-entry well. But we also realize that you're not alone in this journey of re-entry. Yeah, that's why to use these resources, right, we as a staff, right, we really hope that we can journey together with you, not just like this is the reflection, just throw to you and you do it lah. Yeah, but I mean, we do hope that it can be. I mean, we want to journey with you and we want to discover it together or have conversations about different things, because some of the things is about our relationship with God, our relationship with others, or some of the things that we'll talk about the CF, or how we look at the time, different things. So do contact your staff or any FES staff worker that so that if you think that these resources will help you to re-entry campus well, why not come to talk to your staff? Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Sokli. Gab, how about you?
I think to add on to what Sokli has said also, if you also think about it, right, we are actually in a very, very unique time, or we live in a very special moment. I think, like, this is my own assumption, that we would not experience a global wide pandemic unless COVID 2.0 can come from another place. I have no idea. But but I don't think we will experience a global wide pandemic that will shut down everything like how we experienced for the last 2 years. And for the last 2 years, everything has become stationary or just stand still, just stop. And now when things are slowly begun to start again, I think this is a very good opportunity where we are in now to start to reshape our CF again. And by reshaping it, we need to look back at the purpose of the CF. And like what Sokli say, if you're wondering or wonder how or what could we do talk to your staff worker. I mean, feel free to talk to any one of us. Your CF advisors in campus, I mean, some of us, we do have that. These are people that is good to talk to. Maybe your seniors from the CF who are graduated. These are good people to talk with as well. And together, let's come and see how can we shape the CF again for God.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much to Sokli and Gabriel for your input. Maybe after we're going to have this caption where you can look at the resources that we talk about. If not, there is staff who can journey with you. You can ask the resources through staff. And I like to end this with this, which is that nothing better than to re-enter at certain point in our life, especially in campuses, to involving God. I mean, to involve God through the Word of God. And I think that is one of the things about resources. We always talk about these resources as if it's the answer to everything. Right? But again, the resources is we want you or the user to reflect back the Word of God, and hoping that maybe we can more better as we come out from this journey or come out from this isolation or whatever you want to call it, to come back and with more awareness about God and knowing that God is with you as you journey together, and not just you, and also in our community, and to come back maybe more stronger in your faith, or as we having this adventure and challenges, you can build up your faith muscle, and through that maybe you can encourage other people. Okay, you can encourage other people with this. Right. Thank you very much for Sokli and Gabriel again. Until we meet again in another episode of our Wise Counsel. If you haven't liked, subscribe, and follow FVS Malaysia through IG, YouTube, and also Facebook page, please do so, because there are a lot of other questions that we can respond to. That is very hot issue. Hot issue. Is that how to promote things? Can right. Until we meet again in another episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, people.